The conference room erupted in laughter when my face appeared on the giant demo screen. Not because the app crashed, not because of a technical glitch, but because our dating algorithm had just matched my test profile with someone named Tess, 29, single. The photo staring back at me was my wife's face, my actual wife, Tessa, who was supposed to be sitting in the front row supporting me. Instead, she was frozen in her seat, her smile cracking like cheap porcelain. Victor Lang, our lead investor, stood up first. His applause felt like a slap. The rest of the audience joined in, thinking this was part of the presentation. A clever demonstration of how accurate our matching system was. They didn't know I'd created that test profile 30 seconds earlier. They didn't know Tessa and I had been married for 3 years. They didn't know my hands were shaking so badly I nearly dropped the remote. I forced myself to smile, to laugh along, to pretend this was intentional. But my eyes stayed locked on that screen, on the profile details I was reading for the first time. Tess loved hiking and wine bars. She was exploring new connections and ready for adventure. Her verification badge glowed blue and legitimate. This wasn't a prank. This wasn't a mistake. This was real. And everyone in that room was watching me discover my wife's secret life in real time. The demo was supposed to be my moment. After 2 years of coding, pitching, and bleeding money into FixNest, our affordable housing app was finally ready to launch. I'd poured everything into this platform that connected families with down payment assistance and verified contractors. The live demonstration would show investors how our matching algorithm worked. Simple, clean, foolproof. I'd set up a test profile backstage using random details. Noah Patterson, 34, software engineer, looking for home renovation advice. Generic enough that it wouldn't match with anyone real, except it did. The moment I clicked submit, the screen filled with a match notification. Then her face appeared. Tessa's professional headshot, the one she used for her PR firm's website. But here it was attached to a dating profile. Tess, 29, single, loves spontaneous adventures. The room's energy shifted from curious to confused to amused. Someone whistled. Victor started the slow clap that turned into applause. They thought I'd staged it. A dramatic reveal showing how the algorithm could match anyone, even husbands and wives. The perfect demo twist. I couldn't move. My throat closed up. The remote felt like it weighed 50 pounds. Tessa was standing now, laughing along with everyone else, her hand pressed to her chest in mock surprise, playing along beautifully, like she always did when cameras were watching. Backstage, Tessa grabbed my arm hard enough to bruise. Her smile never wavered. The investors were still filing out, shaking hands, promising follow-up calls. Victor lingered near the exit, watching us with those calculating eyes that made me understand why people called him a shark. That was a bug, Tessa hissed through her teeth. Her breath smelled like the mint gum she chewed when she was nervous. Some kind of data scrape. You need to handle it before anyone asks questions. I stared at her, really looked at her for the first time in months. The woman I'd married had softer edges. This version was all sharp angles and controlled expressions. A bug? I repeated. Right. A bug that pulled your photo and created a detailed profile. Noah. Her tone shifted to the one she used with difficult clients. Soothing but firm. We can discuss this at home. Right now, you need to smile and get back out there. Victor wants to talk numbers. Victor appeared beside us like he'd been summoned. He draped an arm around Tessa's shoulders. The gesture looked friendly, supportive, but his fingers pressed into her collarbone in a way that made her wince. Quite the show, he said. The press will love it. Founder uses his own app, matches with his wife. It's perfect. Tessa leaned into him, just slightly. Just enough. We're full of surprises, she said. My phone buzzed. An email from the board. Subject line, wellness review request. I felt something cold settle in my stomach. The house felt different when I got home, emptier. It took me 10 minutes to figure out why. Half of Tessa's closet was gone. Not the everyday clothes, not the obvious things, but the designer pieces she'd bought last year. The leather jacket I'd given her for our anniversary. The silk blouses she wore to client dinners. I stood there holding a bare hanger, trying to remember the last time I'd actually looked in her closet. Weeks? Months? A glossy brochure fell from her tote bag on the bed. Harbor Luxury Studios. Downtown. Starting at $3,000 a month. I recognized the building. New construction. Glass walls and rooftop pools. The kind of place Tessa had wanted when we first got married. Before we decided to save for a house instead, before FixNest consumed all our money and time, someone knocked on the door. Mrs. Duarte from next door stood on the porch holding a covered dish. She was 70-something Colombian and had adopted me the day we moved in. "You okay, mijo?" Her eyes were too knowing, too kind. I realized I was still holding the brochure. "Fine," I said. "Just tired." She handed me the dish. Arroz con pollo, her cure for everything. "Truth walks slowly," she said, "but it always arrives." I didn't understand what she meant, not yet. The card the stranger had slipped me during the demo led to a bank downtown. Elena Reyes Trust, Vault 318. The name made my chest tight. Elena had been my mentor in grad school, the professor who'd believed in me when everyone else saw a scholarship kid from a bad neighborhood. She died 6 months ago, cancer, fast and brutal. I'd spoken at her funeral. Tessa hadn't come, said she had a client emergency. The bank manager led me to a small room with a single safe deposit box. Inside was a letter in Elena's handwriting, a USB drive, and a legal document. The letter was dated 2 months before she died. "Noah," it began, "if you're reading this, something has gone wrong. I've watched people I cared about be destroyed by those they trusted. I won't let that happen to you. The document is a key person integrity clause. I filed it with your incorporation papers. If you can prove publicly that a founding partner has acted dishonestly, you have the right to buy back their equity at cost. 10% of that buyback automatically funds an employee hardship trust. You have 30 days from discovery to exercise this option. Power isn't about control. It's about protecting people who can't protect themselves. If you must prove the truth in public, do it. Then pay it forward. Always forward. At the bottom, handwritten in red ink, 30-day trigger begins at documented proof. After that, option passes to majority investor, Victor. The option would pass to Victor. Priya worked in trust and safety for the dating component we'd licensed for FixNest's social features. She was brilliant, careful, and one of the few people at the company who talked to me like a human instead of a boss. I met her at a coffee shop 3 blocks from the office. "Your test account," she said quietly. "It's flagged as a sandbox. Internal use only. But the profile it matched with, Tess, that's fully verified." She slid her laptop across the table. The screen showed verification logs, photo ID check, facial recognition confirmation, device fingerprinting. She uploaded a driver's license, Priya said. "Went through the whole process. This isn't someone using her photos. This is her." My coffee tasted like ash. When? Account created 4 months ago. Active logins 3 to 4 times a week, mostly evenings. Messages sent to 14 different profiles. 14. The number hit me like a fist. "Can you tell where she logs in from?" Priya's fingers flew across the keyboard. A map appeared. Dots clustered around 2 locations. Our house and a building on Harbor Street. "The luxury studios from the brochure." "That's against policy," she whispered, "sharing location data. But you should know." She closed the laptop. "Be careful, Noah. People who build fake lives get dangerous when the walls start coming down." Maya Chen had been our company accountant until Tessa convinced me we needed someone more established. Maya had landed at a firm downtown. When I called, she agreed to meet immediately. "Harbor Luxury Studios," she said, pulling up records on her tablet. "Rent paid by Hallow and Company. They're a vendor we use. PR consulting." I felt my stomach drop. Tessa's firm? Not exactly. Hallow bills us for social media strategy. But I've been tracking their invoices. The amounts don't match any actual deliverables. And their parent company is Lang Strategic Holdings. Victor's company. The pieces were sliding together like a puzzle I didn't want to solve. How much? $32,000 over 4 months, buried in marketing expenses. Maya's jaw was tight. I flagged it twice. Tessa said it was approved consulting work. Victor co-signed. I thought about Victor's arm around Tessa's shoulders, the way she leaned into him, the comfortable familiarity of people who spent time together when I wasn't watching. "Can you get me copies of everything?" "Already done." She handed me a flash drive. "Noah, This is fraud. If the board finds out before you control the narrative, they'll crucify you both. You need to move fast. I thought about Elena's letter, 30 days from documented proof. I'm going to need a lawyer, I said. Maya smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. I know just the person. The county recorder's office smelled like old paper and fluorescent lights. The clerk found Elena's filing in 10 minutes. Key person integrity clause. Filed 8 months ago, 3 months before she died. The language was careful, specific. If a founding partner was proven to have engaged in documented, dishonest conduct that damaged the company's reputation or finances, and if such proof was presented publicly, the honest partner could buy back the dishonest partner's equity at original cost. 10% of the buyback amount would automatically fund an employee hardship trust. The honest partner had 30 days from public documentation to exercise this right. After 30 days, the option transferred to the majority investor, Victor. This is unusual, the clerk said. Most integrity clauses are private. This one requires public disclosure as a condition. Your professor must have really believed in transparency. Or she knew that private accusations could be buried, hidden, negotiated away. Elena had made sure I couldn't take the easy way out. If I wanted to save Fixed Nest, I'd have to burn my marriage down in front of everyone. I took photos of every page. The deadline clock had started ticking the moment that profile appeared on the demo screen. 27 days left. Not enough time. Too much time. All the time in the world to lose everything. The board meeting felt like an ambush. Victor sat at the head of the table like he already owned the place. Tessa sat with the board members, not beside me where partners sat. We've received concerns, Victor began, about Noah's focus, his judgment. The demo incident raised questions about his stability. The demo was a technical glitch, Tessa said smoothly, but it highlighted something important. Noah's been carrying too much. For his health and the company's future, we should consider transitioning some responsibilities. I looked at the faces around the table. Board members I'd pitched to. People who believed in the mission. Now they wouldn't meet my eyes. You're suggesting I step back. My voice sounded distant. From my own company. Temporarily, Victor said. For optics. Until the press cycle moves on. This was it. The play they'd been planning. Push me out gently. Wait for the integrity clause deadline to pass. Then Victor would own everything. I need to think about it, I said. Tessa's smile was sympathetic. Pitying. Of course, take all the time you need. After the meeting, I sat in my car in the parking garage. The USB drive from Elena's box was in my pocket. I'd been too scared to watch it, scared of what she might have known, what she might have seen coming. I plugged it into my laptop. The video file opened. Elena's face filled the screen, thinner than I remembered, but her eyes were fierce. Power is for protecting, she said. If you must prove the truth in public, do it, and pay it forward. Elena's video was 3 minutes long. She'd recorded it in her hospital room. Medical equipment beeped in the background. I've seen this pattern before, she said. People you trust will show you who they really are when there's something worth taking. They'll make you doubt yourself, isolate you, make you feel crazy for noticing the obvious. She coughed. The sound was wet and painful. By the time you're watching this, you'll know. The question isn't whether you've been betrayed, it's what you'll do about it. Most people choose silence. They convince themselves it's dignity. It's not. It's fear. She leaned closer to the camera. You have a choice. Protect yourself by exposing the truth, or protect your comfort by hiding it. But understand this. If you choose silence, you become complicit, and the next person they target won't have the tools I gave you. The video ended. I sat in the dark car, crying for the first time since Elena's funeral. My phone buzzed. Instagram notification. Tessa had posted a story. A photo of her apartment. Minimalist furniture. City view. Caption. Fresh starts. No dead weight. She tagged the location. Harbor Luxury Studios. She wasn't even hiding anymore. I wiped my face. Opened my messages. Started typing to Luis, my original co-founder who Tessa had convinced me to force out last year. The text sat there for 5 minutes before I hit send. I was wrong. About everything. Can we talk? The Harbor Building's concierge recognized me. Mr. Patterson, he said. Are you here to see Miss Tess? Not Miss Patterson? Not Mrs. Patterson? Miss Tess. She's expecting me, I lied. He gestured to the elevators. Unit 1847. She's usually home by 7. I waited in the lobby, watched people come and go, young professionals with gym bags and takeout, the kind of life Tessa had wanted, the kind I couldn't give her while building a company designed to help people who couldn't afford places like this. She arrived at 7:15, saw me immediately. Her face went through 5 expressions in 2 seconds. Surprise, anger, calculation, fear, then the mask. Noah, what are you doing here? You tell me. I'm trying to understand why my wife has a secret apartment paid for by our investor using fraudulent vendor invoices. People in the lobby turned to stare. Tessa's smile never wavered. Let's talk upstairs. In the elevator, she was silent. The hallway smelled like expensive carpet and other people's cooking. Her apartment was exactly what I'd expected. Clean lines, no personality. The kind of place you lived when you were waiting for something better. It's not what you think, she said. Victor needed a place to meet clients discreetly. I'm letting him use it. The vendor payments were his idea. Tax strategy. And the dating profile? Research. For a client campaign. She said it like I was stupid for asking. I needed a verified account to understand user behavior. A billing envelope sat on her kitchen counter. Hallow and company logo. Addressed to Tess Martinez. Her maiden name, try again, I said. Maya's lawyer was named Kayla Foster. She was 50, built like a boxer, and had a reputation for destroying financial fraud cases. This is good, she said, reviewing the documents. Clear paper trail, fake vendor, misappropriated funds. The dating profile adds personal betrayal, which juries love. We were in her office. Maya sat beside me. Luis had come too, after I'd apologized for pushing him out. He'd forgiven me faster than I deserved. Victor filed an injunction. Kayla continued. Claims the integrity clause is unconscionable, unenforceable. He's arguing that Elena had no right to insert it into your corporate structure. Can he win? Not if we move fast, but he'll drag it out, make it expensive, messy. She leaned forward. How public are you willing to go? I thought about Elena's video, about the people who'd trusted me to build something meaningful, about the employees who'd given up better paying jobs because they believed in FixNest's mission. As public as it takes, I said. Kayla smiled. Good, because Victor's planning a charity gala at your model house, the same room where you did the demo. He's making a big show of supporting affordable housing while he steals your company. Luis laughed. Dark and bitter. He's giving us the stage. Exactly, Kayla said. We're going to serve him papers at his own party. On camera, in front of everyone who matters. Maya pulled out her tablet. I've subpoenaed Hallow's records. Every invoice. Every wire transfer. It's all going to be public record by Friday. Priya met me at the same coffee shop. This time she looked terrified. I could lose my job for this, she said. I know. No, you don't. She pushed a folder across the table. This is everything. Verification photos, driver's license scans, GPS logs, message histories. If this gets out that I gave you this, I'm done in tech. I opened the folder. Tessa's face stared back at me from a driver's license photo. Her real license. No fake ID. No stolen identity. She'd verified herself. Created this alternate life with her actual information. Why risk it? I asked Priya. She looked at her coffee. My sister got catfished 2 years ago. Guy used fake photos, fake job, fake everything. She sent him money for a fake emergency. Lost her savings. When she found out the truth, she tried to kill herself. Her voice cracked. People who lie like this, who build these elaborate deceptions, they don't stop. They just find new victims. If I can stop one, I will. My phone buzzed. A cease and desist letter from Tessa's lawyer, accusing me of stalking, harassment, invasion of privacy. She knows you're helping me, I said. Priya's phone buzzed too. A message from an unknown number. You like your job? We sat there in silence. 2 people trying to do the right thing, both of us knowing it might cost us everything. I found the photo by accident. One of Tessa's dating profile pictures looked familiar. I ran it through reverse image search. It was from our wedding, our actual wedding. She'd cropped me out, taken the photo of us dancing, removed my half, and uploaded just herself, smiling, radiant, free. The timestamp showed she'd done it 4 months ago, right after Victor joined as lead investor, right after she started suggesting I needed to step back for my health, right after half her closet migrated to Harbor Street. I sat on our bed, looking at our wedding album, trying to remember when things changed, when the woman who'd cried during our vows became someone who could weaponize our happiest moment. My phone rang. "Luis, you ready to talk like founders?" he asked. "I thought you hated me." "I did, for about 6 months. Then I realized Tessa played us both. She convinced you I was trying to take over. Convinced me you were paranoid. Classic move, divide and conquer." "I'm sorry," I said. "I know. Meet me at the footbridge tomorrow, 6 a.m. Bring coffee." The footbridge was where we'd first sketched out Fixed Nest's concept, 3 years ago, back when everything felt possible. "Why there?" Luis laughed. "Because good things happened there once. Maybe they can again." The footbridge was empty at 6 in the morning. Luis was already there, leaning against the railing, watching the river. I handed him coffee. We stood in silence for a long time. "I was proud," I finally said. "When you started getting recognition, press mentions, speaking invitations. Tessa said you were trying to take credit, that I needed to protect myself. She told me you were jealous, that you wanted me gone so you could be the sole founder. The genius. We were idiots. We were friends. She counted on that." Luis turned to face me. "You gonna do this? Really go through with exposing everything?" I thought about Elena's clause, about Priya risking her job, about Maya and Kayla building the case, about all the people who'd believed in something better. "Yeah," I said, "I am." "Then I'm back in, if you'll have me." We shook hands, then hugged, the kind of hug that acknowledged we'd both lost time we couldn't get back. "Mrs. Duarte left you something," Luis said, "at your door this morning. I saw her when I drove by. I found it when I got home. A casserole and a note. Truth walks slowly, but it always arrives. When it does, be ready to open the door." She'd drawn a little house at the bottom, with the door wide open. The invitation was elegant, cream cardstock, raised lettering, Fixed Nest Foundation Charity Gala, supporting affordable housing initiatives, hosted by Victor Lang and Tessa Patterson, Model Home Unit, Downtown Development. The same room where I'd done the demo, where my marriage had exploded on a giant screen in front of 100 people. Now they were using it for their victory lap. Maya called. "This is perfect, poetic even. It feels like a trap." It is. For them, they think they've won. They're celebrating in public. That's when we serve the papers. That's when we present the evidence. That's when the judge makes her ruling. The judge will be there. She's a donor, major supporter of affordable housing. I made sure she got an invitation, and the county recorder, and a few select journalists who love a good fraud story. I looked at the invitation again. Black tie, open bar, silent auction. They were spending money we didn't have on a party celebrating work I'd done. "What do I wear to my own execution?" I asked. Maya laughed. "A good suit and a smile, because you're not the one being executed." Kayla sent over the plan that night. Every step choreographed, every piece of evidence timed. It was brutal, public, exactly what Elena's clause required. "Use their stage," Maya had said. "Make them watch." The injunction hearing was in a windowless courtroom downtown. Victor's lawyer was expensive, the kind with silver hair and custom suits. He argued that Elena's integrity clause was unusual, punitive, unconscionable. This provision essentially allows one partner to destroy the other based on subjective accusations. He said, "It violates basic corporate governance principles." Kayla stood. She was wearing a simple black suit, no jewelry, all business. "Your Honor, Professor Elena Reyes was a leading expert in corporate ethics. She filed this clause after extensive research and legal consultation. Her correspondence, which we've submitted, shows she believed transparency and accountability were fundamental to ethical business." She placed a stack of letters on the judge's bench. These are from 6 corporate attorneys who reviewed the clause. All confirmed it was legal, well constructed, and increasingly common in founder agreements. The requirement for public disclosure isn't punitive, it's protective. It ensures that any accusations are serious enough to withstand public scrutiny. The judge was a woman in her 60s. She'd seen every trick. "Mr. Lang," she said, "your concern seems to be that this clause exists at all, not that it's being misapplied." Victor's lawyer stumbled. "Well, Your Honor, the timing, I'm going to reserve my ruling," the judge said, "until I can see all the evidence. I understand there's a public event scheduled for Friday evening. I'll attend as an observer. If the accusations hold up under public presentation, I'll dissolve the injunction immediately. If they don't, I'll rule it unconscionable." Kayla didn't smile, but her eyes were bright. "Thank you, Your Honor." 3 days until the gala. 3 days until everything either fell apart or came together. Priya looked sick when she arrived at Kayla's office for testimony prep. "They know," she said. "Tessa sent me a direct message. You like your job? That's it. Just that question." "Intimidation," Kayla said. "Classic. They're trying to scare you off." "It's working." Priya sat down hard. "I have student loans, rent, my mom's medical bills. I can't afford to lose this job. I wanted to tell her to walk away, that her safety mattered more than my company." But Kayla was already talking. "Here's what's going to happen. You're going to testify about the verification process, about the data you saw, about the GPS logs and device fingerprints. You're not going to mention how you accessed that information. You're not going to say you gave it to Noah. You're simply going to confirm, as a trust and safety professional, what the records show." "They'll fire me anyway." "Probably," Kayla agreed. "But wrongful termination is a separate lawsuit. One we'll win, and one that will cost them more than keeping you on would have." "That's not reassuring." "No, but it's honest." Kayla leaned forward. "You have information that proves fraud. You can choose to protect yourself, which I understand, or you can choose to stop someone who's hurting people. But you can't do both." Priya looked at me. "What would you do?" I thought about Elena's video, about her voice saying, "If you choose silence, you become complicit." "I'd tell the truth," I said, "even if it cost me everything, because living with the alternative is worse." Priya nodded slowly. "Okay, let's rehearse." The building manager at Harbor Luxury Studios was a thin man named Oscar. He looked nervous when I approached him in the lobby. "I can't talk about residents," he said immediately. "Privacy policy." "I'm not asking about residents. I'm asking about payments. Hallow and Company was paying for Unit 1847. Have those payments continued?" He looked around, lowered his voice. "Between us? No. Last payment was 3 weeks ago. We sent 2 notices. She's behind on rent. Tessa was running out of money. Victor was cutting her off. What happens if she doesn't pay? Eviction proceedings start next week." He hesitated. "She had a visitor yesterday. Big guy, expensive suit. They argued in the hallway, loud enough that we got complaints. Victor, squeezing her, making her desperate. My phone rang. Tessa. I almost didn't answer. Walk away, she said. No hello, no preamble. Walk away from whatever you're planning and I'll fix your board problem. I'll tell them the dating profile was research, that the vendor payments were approved. I'll get Victor to back off. And in exchange, we sell the company, split the proceeds, go our separate ways. I could hear traffic in the background. She was calling from somewhere outside, somewhere people couldn't overhear. Why would I do that? Because otherwise I'll destroy you. I'll tell everyone you were abusive, controlling, that I was afraid of you. I have messages, screenshots, a whole narrative ready to go. The threat should have scared me. Instead, I felt calm. Clear. Do it, I said. Tell your story. I'll tell mine. We'll see which one has evidence behind it. I hung up. 2 days until the gala. 2 days until the truth walked slowly into that room and arrived. Mrs. Duarte was waiting on my porch when I got home. She had her serious face on, the one that meant she was about to say something important. You're doing the hard thing, she said. Good. How do you know what I'm doing? Mijo, I'm 73. I've seen this story before. Different people, same pattern. Woman gets what she wants from a man, then gets bored. Finds someone with more money, more power. Takes what she can on the way out. She patted my hand. But you're not letting her get away with it. That's good. That's right. It doesn't feel right. It feels like I'm destroying everything. Sometimes destruction is the only way to build something true. Your house is full of lies right now. You have to burn it down before you can build a real one. She handed me a key. This is to my garage. There's boxes in there. Old files from when my husband had his business. Someone tried to steal from him once. He documented everything, kept records. When he went to court, he had proof. The thief had stories. What happened? The truth won, like it always does, eventually. She stood up, smoothed her dress. Bring your keys tomorrow. You'll need to lock something behind you tomorrow night before you move forward. I didn't understand. But Mrs. Duarte had been right about everything else, so I nodded. The gala looked like a fairy tale. String lights, jazz quartet, well-dressed people admiring the model home that was supposed to represent Fixness's mission. Victor stood at the center of it all, holding court. Tessa circulated with champagne, laughing at jokes, playing the gracious hostess. They'd set up a podium where the demo screen had been. Poetic symmetry. I arrived late, deliberately. Walked in just as Victor was starting his speech. Fixness represents the future of affordable housing. He was saying, under new leadership, we're poised to transform how America thinks about home ownership. New leadership. He wasn't even subtle. I caught Kayla's eye across the room. She nodded. Maya was positioned near the AV controls. Luis stood by the entrance, blocking it. The judge sat in the back row. Next to her, the county recorder. Both in evening wear, both watching carefully. Victor saw me. His smile faltered for just a second, then brightened. Noah, come up here. This is your vision too. I walked to the podium. Every step felt like moving through water. Tessa's face went white. I have a presentation, I said. The first slide appeared on the screen. A simple title, The Truth About Vendor Fraud. Gasps rippled through the crowd. Victor lunged for the podium. Luis stepped in his way. Let him speak, Luis said quietly. Proof has shown. Bank records, wire transfers from Fixness to Hallow & Company. $32,000 over 4 months. Then the rent statements from Harbor Luxury Studios showing Hallow as the payer. Then the lease agreement, Tessa Martinez as the resident. My wife has been living in a secret apartment, I said. My voice was steady, calm, distant. Paid for with company funds through a fraudulent vendor scheme run by our lead investor. Proof #2, the dating profile. Screenshots of Tess, 29, single. Her verification photos. The timestamps. The cropped wedding photo. While married to me, she created an active dating profile. Used company resources to fund a lifestyle that supported this deception. Tessa was crying now, but the cameras were rolling. Local news had somehow gotten invitations. This is insane, Victor shouted. Fabricated logs. Proof #3. I pressed play on the next video. Priya appeared on screen. Recorded testimony. Professional. Damning. As a trust and safety specialist, I can confirm these records are authentic. The verification process requires government ID, facial recognition, and device fingerprinting. The account belonging to Tess Martinez passed all checks. The GPS logs show regular logins from both the Patterson residence and Harbor Luxury Studios. Tessa stood up. This is a privacy violation. You can't share my personal information. You used your personal information to defraud our company, Kayla said, standing, which makes it evidence of a crime. The room erupted, people shouting, cameras flashing. Victor trying to push past Luis toward the exit. The judge stood. The room went silent immediately. I've seen enough, she said. The injunction against the integrity clause is dissolved. The clause is enforceable. Mr. Patterson has 30 days to exercise his buyback option. She looked at Victor. And Mr. Lang, you should expect a call from the district attorney. This is fraud, clear and documented. Victor's face went purple. You can't do this. I have contracts. You have fraud charges, the judge said. Sit down. She left. The county recorder followed. Then the journalists. Then the donors. One by one, people filed out. Some looked at me with sympathy. Some with disgust. I didn't care. I'd done what Elena asked. Prove the truth in public. Let it cost everything. The model home emptied. Just me, Kayla, Maya, Luis, and Priya remained, and Tessa, standing alone by the window. "That's it?" she said. "You destroy me in front of everyone? Make me look like a criminal?" "You are a criminal," Maya said. "The evidence says so." Tessa looked at me, really looked at me. "I loved you once. You know that, right?" "I don't think you did," I said. "I think you loved what I could give you. And when that wasn't enough, you found someone who could give you more." The county recorder returned to the podium. I'd forgotten she was still there, waiting. "Mr. Patterson, you need to exercise the clause formally, on record, now." Kayla handed me the papers. I signed them in front of everyone. Buying back Tessa's equity at cost. $7,000. What she'd invested 3 years ago, worth over $1 million now. 10% of the buyback goes to the Employee Hardship Trust, I said. But I'm adding more, $100,000, to be administered by Luis Martinez and Maya Chen for any Fixed Nest employee facing financial crisis. Applause. Scattered at first. Then, building. The remaining donors and employees who'd stayed understood. This wasn't about revenge. It was about protection. Elena's video played on the screen. I'd saved it for last. Her voice filled the room. "If honesty cost you everything, let it. Then build again. Build better. Build with people who understand that real power is about protecting those who can't protect themselves." When it ended, Tessa was gone. Victor too. Kayla said they'd both left separately. Victor's lawyer had already called. He was negotiating a settlement to avoid criminal charges. Tessa's PR firm had dropped her. The news would break tomorrow. But tonight, in this room full of people who'd chosen truth over comfort, I felt something I hadn't felt in months. Hope. The reversal happened faster than I expected. By morning, Victor's empire was crumbling. His other investments were pulling out. His board was demanding his resignation. The DA's office had opened a formal investigation. Tessa's story hit the news, but not the version she'd planned. "Fixed Nest founder exposes wife's fraud scheme," read the headlines. The articles focused on the evidence, the courage it took to go public, the integrity clause Elena had designed. Donors who'd left the gala started calling back, not just to reinvest, but to increase their commitments. "We invest in character," one told me. "You just proved yours." Luis and I spent the day at the office setting up the Elena Fund, $100,000 to start. But donations were already coming in. People who'd heard the story, who understood what we were trying to build. Priya called. I got fired, officially, for violating privacy policies. "I'm sorry." "Don't be. Your lawyer already filed the wrongful termination suit. And 3 other tech companies called me today, offering jobs, better jobs. Turns out whistleblowers are in demand." She paused. "Thank you for not letting me stay quiet." By evening, the model home was full again. Not with donors this time, with employees. People who'd believed in Fixed Nest's mission, who'd stayed through the chaos. We opened applications for the hardship fund. 6 people applied that first day. Dawn came cold and clear. I stood outside the model home with a key in my hand. The building would open tomorrow for real tours. Real families looking for real help. Mrs. Duarte had been right. I'd needed to lock something behind me before I could move forward. I locked the demo equipment, the staged furniture, the performance of success that had attracted people like Victor and Tessa. When I turned around, Tessa was there, standing by her car. Her eyes were red, swollen. "Can we talk?" she asked. Every instinct screamed no, but I thought about Elena's video. About choosing who to become. "No," I said gently. "We can't." I pulled out a business card. The employee assistance line. Free counseling. Free legal aid. Free support for people in crisis. "But you can call this number. They can help you figure out what comes next." She took it, looked at it, started crying harder. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I know you are. But sorry doesn't fix fraud. Sorry doesn't rebuild trust. You made your choices. Now you live with them." I walked to my car. Luis was waiting. We had a meeting with 3 families who'd been approved for down payment assistance. Real work, real impact. Mrs. Duarte was on her porch when I drove past. She raised her coffee cup in salute. The truth had arrived, just like she said it would. 6 months later, Fixed Nest had helped 47 families into homes. The Elena Fund had grown to $500,000. Priya joined us as head of trust and safety, building systems that protected users without enabling fraud. Victor took a plea deal. Tessa disappeared from social media. I heard she'd moved to another city. Started over. I hoped she learned something. But that wasn't my responsibility anymore. What I learned was what Elena had been trying to teach me all along. Love and leadership are the same test. You tell the truth when lying looks easier. You protect people when silence looks safer. You build something real when performance would be more profitable. And when you do that, when you choose integrity over comfort, something beautiful happens. Not immediately, not without cost, but eventually, truth walks slowly into the room. And when it arrives, it changes everything.